start from the top. And I guess I'll have to delete um, or, cut out that other part from the beginning. Hello, everyone. My name is Wendy, and I am doing a marathon for 40 days and 40 nights. I am going to be reading from the Bible, the first five books of the Bible. And this is day 3 of the 40 days and 40 nights. I will be coming on in the around 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm a little late this morning. Had a really upsetting nightmare last night, and anyway, so I'm a little bit late this morning, and but 7 o'clock in the morning, and then I'll be back 7 o'clock tonight. If you don't mind, please like this video. Be sure to post comments and send your love in whatever way you would like to. I am doing the I am reading in a Bible interpretation called Swords of the Spirit. It introduces um, reconstructed Paleo Hebrew names. For instance, the sacred name of God is not hidden by a title of the Lord, but it is actually, I have inserted the true Paleo Hebrew spelling of the Tetragrammaton, the sacred name of God, and in this book. And anyway, and I will be pronouncing his name. A lot of a lot of Bibles they mask the name of God with the title of the Lord, and the reason why I don't like that is because it's not an accurate interpretation of his name. See, everyone's name has a hidden meaning, and the sacred name has the meaning of he exists. Okay, so God, the Most High, does exist, and the um, the title of the Lord kind of gives people the sense of rebelling against authority. No one wants to be lorded over, and so that's not my favorite title for the Most High. I prefer to just acknowledge that He does exist. All right, and anyway, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I don't mind. I'm going to be reading chapter 15, 16, and 17. And if I see any questions, I will be sure to answer them in between chapters. Okay, so let me go ahead and begin with chapter 15. Chapter 15. After these things, the word of Yahweh came unto Abram in a vision, saying, Fear not, Abram, I am your shield, your exceeding great reward. And Abram asked, Adonai, my Lord, he, he who exists, what can you give me, seeing I go childless, and the steward of my house is this Alazer of Damascus? Then Abram said, Behold, you have given no seed unto me. Indeed, my heir is one born in your house. And lo, the word of Yahweh came to him, saying, This will not be your heir, but he who will come forth out of your own bowels will be your heir. Then he brought him outside and said, Look now towards the heavens and count the stars, if you are able to number them. And he said to him, Like these your seed will be. Thus he believed in Yahweh, and he counted it towards him for righteousness. Then he said to him, I am he who exists, who brought you out of Ur of the Kasdim, to give you the land to inherit it. So he asked, Adonai, he who exists, how will I know when I have inherited it? Therefore he answered him, Bring me a heifer of 3 years, and a she goat of 3 years, and a ram of 3 years, and a turtle dove, and a young pigeon. So he brought all these unto him. Then he divided them in the middle, and he laid each piece one against the other. But the birds he did not divide. And when the fowl came down upon the carcass, Abram drove them away. And when the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell upon Abram, and lo, a dread of great darkness fell upon him. Thus he said unto Abram, Know with a certainty that your seed will be an immigrant in a land that is not theirs, serving them, and they will afflict them 400 years. Also I will judge the nation which they will serve, and afterward they will come out with great substance, and you will go to your fathers peace, and you will go to your fathers in peace. You will be buried in a good old age. Then, in the fourth generation, they will come here again, for the iniquity of the Amori is not yet full. And it came to pass when the sun went down, and it was dark, that behold, there was a smoking furnace, and a burning lamp that passed between those pieces. In that same day Yahweh made a covenant with Abram, saying, Unto your seed I have given this land, from the river of Mitzrayim unto the great river, the river Barat, and the Hiwi, and the Kenazi, and the Kamuni, and the Hitti, and the Perizi, and the Rephaim, and the Amori, and the Canaani, and the Girgashi, and the Yebusi. All right, let me see what we got here. Thank you, Chase. I appreciate that. Thank you. I try to be an obedient servant of God, and I appreciate those kind words. Now, let's talk about this a little bit. We have Abraham, who is receiving a promise from the Most High, and he is told that he is going to have someone who inherits all, an heir who will inherit his great wealth and the blessings of God. And and he's an older man at this time. I forget, does it say so where he's how old he is in this? I know, I think it was in the other chapter that we know that he's in his 70s plus. Okay. Anyway, and what I love about this is it's prophetic about the Israelites, the children of Israel going into Egypt, Mitzrayim, for 400 years, for 4 generations. And we do see that. If you look at the genealogy later in the book of Genesis, you'll notice in the genealogy it talks about Moses and his forefathers, their line as they were in Egypt, and it was 4 generations. Okay, and so others might have had 5 or 3, but through Moses we know that there were 4 generations fulfilling that prophecy. Now, there is a lot of symbolism in the sacrifice that Moses did with the heifer, the 3-year-old heifer, the she goat that was 3 years old, the ram that was 3 years old, the turtle dove, and the pigeon. And I'm not going to go into it for this particular reading. Just know that these are things that I do want to discuss in future videos. So be sure to like and subscribe so that you can get some of these deep hidden mysteries, the unveiling of them, because they do have some amazing um, symbolism to them. And they pertain to us today. All right, that pigeon and turtle dove represents the time that we live in today. Those actually represent symbols of time. That's one way of looking at them. And the turtle dove and pigeon is where we live today in God's timeline. All right, His sacred timeline. Hello, how you doing? I appreciate you. Hey, don't forget to hit the like button, and if you haven't subscribed, please do so. I'm going to move on. Unless you have any questions, I am going to move on to chapter 16. For those who are just popping in, I am reading from an interpretation of the Bible that uses reconstructed Paleo Hebrew for the names. Names are very important. Everyone's name has a meaning. All right, and so in the Bible, this is very true. So, for instance, uh, Sarah means the princess, right? She's the princess, and she is the. But then she becomes a noble Sharai, which is Sarah's name before it's changed to Shara. It means princess, and then it changes to noblewoman when she has a child. And so this kind of is like a rites of passage. Having a child is a rites of passage for the development of a woman. So there are deep meanings in that. I know that there are a lot of ladies out there that don't want children until some don't ever want children, but they're really missing out on a part of their human evolution, their personal development as people. And this story kind of shows that significance because she went from being a princess to a noblewoman. But anyway, so let's move forward with the chapter 16. Now Sarai, the wife of Abram, bore him no children, but she had a handmaid, a Mitzrite, whose name was Hagar. Therefore Sarai said to Abram, Behold now, he who exists has restrained me from bearing. I pray you, go into my handmaid. It may be that I obtain children by her. Thus Abram hearkened unto the voice of Sarai. Moreover, Sarai, the wife of Abram, took Hagar her maid, the Mitzrite, after Abram dwelt 10 years in the land of Canaan, and gave her to her husband Abram to be his wife. Thus he went in unto Hagar, and she conceived. And when she saw that she had conceived, her mistress was despised in her eyes. And Sarai said to Abram, My wrong is upon you. I have given my maid unto your bosom. And when she saw that she had conceived, I was despised in her eyes. May he who exists judge between you and I. But Abram said to Sarai, Behold, your maid is in your hand. Do to her as it pleases you. And when Sarai dwelt harshly with her, she fled from her face. And the angel of Yahweh found her in the wilderness by a fountain of water, by the fountain in the way towards Shur. And he asked Hagar and the maid of Sarai, From where did you come, and where will you go? And she answered, I flee from the face of my mistress, Sarai. And the angel of Yahweh said unto her, Behold, return to your mistress, and submit yourself under her hands. Then the angel of Yahweh said to her, I will multiply your seed exceedingly, that it will be not numbered for multitude. Then the angel of Yahweh said to her, Behold, you are with child, and will bear a son, and will call his name Yeshama'al. All will hear, for Yehweh has heard your affliction. But he will be a wild man. His hand will be against every man, and every man's hand will be against him, and he will dwell in the presence of all his brethren. Thus she called the name of he who exists, who spoke to her, Ata al Rai, you all see me. For she said, here also I have seen the backside of him who sees me. Upon this the well was called Ber Lahirai. Behold, it is between Kadesh and Bered. Thus Hagar bore unto Abraham, and Abraham called the name of his son, whom Hagar bore, Yishmael. And Abram was 86 years old when Hagar bore Yishmael unto Abraham. All right. So that is chapter 16. I want to point something out. Now you must remember that humanity didn't just have a name um, for the Most High God initially. They did not. Okay. It wasn't like God said, "Hey, this is hi, how you doing? This is my name." No. Uh, what they said, similar to what we would say, the big guy upstairs. They said, "He who exists." They had a knowing that he existed. All right. Um, the big guy upstairs is not the sacred name of God, and yet we all know what the other person is talking about when someone says that. So, um, and likewise, they did not have an established sacred name yet. Now they knew him as he who exists, but it says here that she called the name of he who exists, Yehweh, who spoke to her, Ata al Rai. You all see me. Okay? In other words, God sees me. So she gave this entity her own name. All right? And it was an angel of the Most High that spoke with her. And so she knew that God saw her, and that was the name that that she chose to give, all right, for her own personal experience. Okay. Now later, in the book of Exodus, Moses will speak with with Yahweh, and that is where the sacred name becomes established. That God says, "Go ahead and call me this." Now they had been calling him that from the beginning. They just didn't know it was his sacred name yet. All right, and so that's why in Sword of the Spirit, when I am doing quotes of something someone says, instead of pronouncing the sacred name, Yehweh, I just give its interpretation, he who exists. So he is like saying, the big guy said this. The big guy upstairs said this. Because it hadn't been established yet. God didn't say, go ahead and call me that. Now, the Most High could have said, go ahead and call me what Hagar was calling me, but he chose not to make that sacred name, not to make that name his sacred name. All right, so now we're going to move into chapter 17. Chapter 17. And when Abram was 99 years old, Yahweh appeared unto Abram and said to him, I am Al Shaddai, the Almighty. Walk before me and be perfect. Let's begin that over. Chapter 17. And when Abram was 99 years old, Yahweh appeared unto Abram and said to him, I am Al Shaddai, Almighty. Walk before me and be perfect. And I will make my covenant between you and I will multiply you exceedingly. Therefore Abram fell upon his face, and Elohim talked with him, saying, As for me, behold, my covenant is with you, and you will be a father of many nations. Also, your name will no longer be called Abram, father is exalted, but your name will be Abraham, their father is exalted. For I will make you a father of many nations. I will make you exceedingly fruitful, and I will make nations of you. Thus kings will come out of you, and I will establish my covenant between me and you, and your seed after you in their generations, for an everlasting covenant, to be an Elohim unto you and unto your seed after you. And I will give to you and your seed after you the land of your journey, all the land of Canaan, for an everlasting possession, and I will be their Elohim. Then Elohim said to Abraham, Therefore you will keep my covenant, you and your seed after you in their generations. This is my covenant which you will keep between me and you and your seed after you. Every male child among you will be circumcised. Thus you will circumcise the flesh of their foreskin, and you will be a sign of the covenant between me and you. Therefore, an 8-day-old child will be circumcised among you, every male in your generation. He who is born in the house is bought with money of any foreigner who is not of your seed. He who is born in your house and he who is bought with your money must be circumcised. And my covenant will be in your flesh for an everlasting covenant. Thus the uncircumcised male child, whose flesh of his foreskin is not circumcised, that soul will be cut off from his people. He will be broke. He has broken my covenant. Then Elohim said to Abraham, As for Sarai, your wife, you will not call her name Sarai, my princess, but Sarah, noble woman, will be her name, and I will bless her also, giving you a son by her. Yes, I will bless her, and she will be a mother of nations. Kings of peoples will come from her. Therefore Abraham fell upon his face, and laughed, and said in his heart, Will a child be born unto him, whom is 100 years old? And will Sarah bear, whom is 90 years old? Then Abraham said to Elohim, Oh, that Ishmael might live before you. And Elohim said, Surely Sarah, your wife, will bear you a son, and you will call his name Yitzhak. He laughs. And I will establish my covenant with him, for an everlasting covenant with his seed after him. And as for Yishmael, I have heard you. Behold, I will bless him, and I will make him fruitful, and I will multiply him exceedingly. He will beget 12 nations. Thus I will make him a great nation. But I will establish my covenant with Yitzhak, whom Sarah will bear unto you at this whom Sarah will bear unto you at this set time in the next year. Then he left off talking to him, and Elohim went up from Abraham. Therefore Abraham took Yishmael his son, and all who were born in his house, and all who were bought with his money, every male among the men of the house of Abraham, and he circumcised the flesh of their foreskins in that selfsame day, as Elohim had said to him. And Abraham was 99 years old when he was circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin. Furthermore, Yishmael, his son, was 13 years old when he was circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin. And that selfsame day Abraham and Yishmael his son were circumcised. And all the men of that and all the men of his house, born in his house, and bought with money of the foreigner, were circumcised with him. Okay, so that kind of increased the gene pool by having multiple people included into the circumcision. Okay, that increased the gene pool a little bit, which you will see as the children of um, Jacob, as they continue that process. And he has 12 sons, and they all kind of marry from the family. All right, or from that gene pool, because it wasn't just Abraham and his son, but it was all the men in the household, and they were considered one, and they were treated under that same covenant. All right. So that is, let me see, what do I want to talk about here? So he was 99 years old when this promise was made, and the Most High said that he would have a son by that time next year. All right. And Yetzirah, his name means laugh. He laughs, which is because Abraham made light of it. What am I going to have a kid when I'm 90, when I'm 100 years old? Anyway, and so that just seemed kind of funny, and it was a funny situation, and so that's why he got the name Yitzhak. He laughs, and he actually that name follows him in his life. He lived a very, compared to many of the characters, he lived a very peaceful life. All right, for his own personal well-being. Not a whole lot of, he didn't have war, is what I'm trying to say. He might have had some disagreements, but it was pretty peaceful compared to a lot of the people in the Bible, because he didn't really have a war where he had to like fight and kill people and fight over land. He argued, he debated, but there was no bloodshed. So it was a pretty peaceful life. All right. Well, that is it for now. I want to thank everyone for tuning in and watching. Um, I will be back at 7. I'll try to make it at 7 o'clock, not 7:30 tonight, for this 40 days and 40 nights reading marathon. Thank you so much for participating, and I appreciate you. Have a wonderful day. Bye bye.